Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you are new, my name is JC and I am a part-time reseller. I am excited to share with you my year in completion of being a reseller on Poshmark and eBay. Actually, I'm not really sharing a lot of sales on eBay. I don't know why, but anyway, I'm glad you're here and I'm excited to share my experience so far in reselling. Now, just to give you a little bit of a background is I've thrifted all my life. I have 4 adult children I've raised on thrifting and I have 1 left at home. Again, I raise on thrifting. I love being able to shop that way and save money. It's always been the thrill of the hunt for me, and to be able to resell, find treasures, and someone likes those things that I find and buys them. It's the best of both worlds. So I was back and forth on how I was gonna lay this out. Was I gonna go in chronological order? Like, what was my first thing sold? What was this sold? And I kind of went through like per subject, I guess, like hats, jackets, purses, dresses. I just wanted to give kind of lessons learned in the process and how each thing I learned kind of encouraged me to move forward and make better decisions in the business of reselling. Now, I do have a skincare company that I have combined under the Pink Hippie Co. So on YouTube, I'm the Thrifting Pink Hippie, but my LLC is the Pink Hippie Co. And I just combined it, the reselling and the soaps and skincare that I make. And you'll see in my packing videos, if you haven't watched those yet, I do incorporate some of those sales that I make on my Shopify. Right now, I'm in my listing studio and surrounded by the things I need to list. Let me do this and share these with you so I can get busy listing. The one thing I am sharing with you guys from eBay, and I did make quite a few eBay sales, and I will also give you the year stats at the end, like how many items did I sell? What was my net earnings? Not counting my deduction of what I sold. So I'll kind of figure that out just to give y'all an update on what that looks like. The first thing that sold that really kind of imprinted in me was, and I don't have an actual picture of it because I didn't know this, but eBay actually takes your pictures away once they're so many months old. So I found this picture to give you an idea of what it was. The one I found at the bins was a 3X. And so Ralph Lauren, this 3X winter scene knit wool sweater. I just stood there and looked at it for a while. It was heavy, but even though it was heavy, I still was under $2 per item on that haul. And I ended up selling it for, I think I listed it for 95, but I ended up selling it for 85. Someone came in and did an offer, and that was like, okay, people like vintage stuff like I do. There's just something about vintage things. So hats, I love picking up hats. If you watch my shipping videos, you'll see I love picking up hats. And this, I think it's pronounced Wyeth, W-Y-E-T-H, wool hat. So I picked this up at the Ben's, $1.26 per item that day, and it sold for $26 and I made $18.78. And to me, that kind of left the impression, I've learned that, wow, these wool hats, these unique pieces can be an easy flip and not very high in cost of goods because they don't weigh that much. And then just recently, now I've sold several hats, but again, I'm just kind of hitting those points for y'all to share those with you, was this vintage 70s wool hat. It's a Mr. John classic, and that came in at full asking price. She bought it at $48 and I made $38.40. Now dresses. This was, I love vintage, like I've said, and I picked up this plaid black and white vintage dress I'll have. It's an REO brand on that, and it had a little brooch on it, so I ended up cleaning it. I took the little brooch off, I cleaned it, and then I put it back on the dress and it went with it. It was very art deco. So cool. And someone came in and bought it for $38 and I made $30.40. Now, what I really learned with this next sale is finding those unique items, something that's like, okay, wow, this is different, this is interesting. And again, I will put I didn't write down the brand on but I will make sure I put it on the screen for y'all. I was pulling this, what I thought was a sheet, but as I kept pulling it more and more, it was like, wait, this feels like something else. And I held it up and it was this beautiful, whimsical, really pale teal dress. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is just absolutely beautiful. It was fringed, you know, it was raw edges more so, and very storybook-esque. And that was one of the keywords I used, was whimsical storybook. Someone came in and bought it for $34, and I made $25.18. A lot of words for $34, but you know what I mean? I was like, okay, wow, this is an interesting find, and it really helped me develop keywords and things, how to describe something to bring attention to that. And it sold very fast. Within a week it sold. That's another important fact on that. So next up was this vintage cottage core floral dress. I found this at the Benz as well. And I know these are great, especially those maxi length. Someone came in and bought it for $40. I made $32 on that. The next one up was a White House Black Market tweed dress. There's a jacket I found too, and I'm trying to figure out if not the same time, but I wanted to share that one, but I couldn't find which platform I sold it on, whether it was eBay or Poshmark. But anyway, I love picking up tweed, especially it's got the pink. And this came in at, she offered $40 and I made $32 on it. It was a very, just really sweet, cute dress. Now jackets. Jackets is something that I love to pick up, whether it's blazers or outerwear. And I was at Provisions, a local thrift store here in where I live in Virginia, and they were having $1. It's just before they moved their jackets up to different prices. So this jacket I got for $1, and it's I guess you pronounce it Joie, Joie, and it was this plaid jacket. It was a wool and viscose blend. I really realized, I was like, okay, wow, this is a pretty good brand. Let me see how this does. So I listed it, I believe, for around $75. Someone came in and offered me $60, so I made $48 on that jacket. Next up was a donated item. So I do have people donating items to me because I run an equine ministry. It's a nonprofit organization here on our farm, and people know that I resell, so they're like, hey, let me just donate these items to you. You can make some money and it can go towards, you know, whatever. So this is a Y2K Penny Lane jacket, and again, the brand will be up on the screen because I didn't write it down. Someone came in and paid $75, offered $75 for it, and I made $60 on that, and I'm sure that went to feeding the mouths up at the barn. Next up, this I learned was really great, of this tapestry jacket. It was unique. It was it's the brand Lifestyle, which really isn't something highly sought after, but I just loved the fringe on it, the tapestry, the scenery. It was very, you know, landscape scenery, just really interesting, and it kind of got my attention. Someone came in, they accepted an offer for $40, and I made $29.98. Next up, I actually, you know, kind of went back and forth on this jacket because it was so unique. It still had the tailor's card in the pocket, but it was Middle East. And the collar felt almost like a silk, and then the rest of the jacket was almost like a velvet feel. But there were no indication on what the fabric was. So I stated that in there. And I listed it as, you know, just this tailored blazer. Someone came in and offered $55, and I made $44 on that jacket. Again, my Benz cost doesn't go above $2. I'm usually right around, at the highest, I'm typically around $1.50 on my Benz. This next jacket, again, I'm not going in an order. This was one of the early on things I was listing. I found this Anne Klein jacket at the Benz, and I searched and searched for the tie, the belt, and I found it. So I came home and I listed it and went out to tell my husband, yeah, this Anne Klein jacket, da-da-da-da, ding! Wasn't 5 minutes after I listed it, it sold for full price for $55, and I made $44 on that. You really never know when something is going to sell, and it's a nice surprise when it's quick like that. So I was at the Benz and I came across this huge bin of vintage items, and I was so torn because there were so many great pieces, but I knew I couldn't save them all. I am limited on space here. I'm trying to be really wise in what I do pick up. So I came across something in a bag. It was a clear bag, almost like a dry cleaning bag, but it was clear. And I touched it and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so soft. And I started pulling it out and it felt so soft, and it was like in mint condition, but it was a vintage coat. And I felt the fur around it. I was like, this has got to be real. Stood there with my hands on it and did research and found out, yes, it was a cashmere jacket that was listed on the inside, but this around the collar was fox fur. So excited. I did find one that sold on Poshmark for $2.29, I believe. So I put it in my cart. It would have, if I bought it by itself, it would have cost me $7. But on that day, with everything else that I got, it was $1.50. So just dividing all my pieces up, it was $1.50 for that jacket. And it sold on an offer for $140, and I made $112 on that jacket. Again, there's so many more, but that's just something that really stuck out for me. And it's one of those rare finds. It's not something that you're always going to find, but it's nice when you do, and it is has a great return. All right, shoes. So I'm not a shoe person. I don't rush to the shoes. I will go to the hats and the belts and the scarves, the purses, those things, those accessories I do like to find. But I wanted to share these experiences that I had with selling these particular three that taught me a lot. So the first pair I found at Provisions, which was this Wichita Bass, I think that's how you say it, cow print. It's up here. They were size 7. I thought they were so interesting. I did list them for 75, like for 75 or something. Someone came in and offered me 60. Absolutely. I made $48 on those boots. The boots were $9. I did pay up for them. $9 is up for me. I'm a $2 girl. Like, keep me at the $2 mark or under. So yeah, so $48 at, turning $9 into $48, I think that's pretty good. I was at a little church thrift store that I kind of run into every once in a while. It just happens to be on the way to the post office. So when I'm taking orders to ship, I might just kind of scoot in and take a look. Well, this day I came across these tennis shoes and they looked really nice. They were in great condition, almost new condition. And I stood there and did a little research on them and showed that these vintage, that's the name, Vintage Havana. They were the nude glitter multi-textile star tennis shoes, size 9. And they sold like in 3 days for $68. Now they were in a bundle, but I priced out that bundle to where I would get my full asking price on those shoes. So very happy with that. I think I learned a little bit more in researching and checking things out and saw how fast those were selling. And it held true. It sold for me in about 3 days. So these next shoes or boots were donated to me. They were distressed high-heeled leather boots. Really nice. BCB girls. And I listed them for I listed them for probably upper 50s, 60s, I think, but took an offer for $47 and made $34.62. So no cost of goods, just my time in listing. And everything I get donated, I don't list. Though I really weed through things because I don't want to, if you could see right now, I've got this pile here, I've got that pile. There's a box right over there. I've got them. So I am filling this space up. But I'm going to be filling these boxes because I have 2 shelving units here that help organize things. And those ones on the next shelf, about 90% are empty, so I'm filling them up. That's a task I have ahead of me. So again, $34.62 on something that I didn't have any cost of goods, just took my time in listing is great. Next are belts. Like I said, I love to find belts, and I found this boho leather Chico's belt. This is a recent sale. I listed it for $45. Someone bundled it, and within the bundle, it was a dress that was donated. And so I really end up getting my $45 that I was like wanting for that belt. So I made $36 on that. Now this is another piece I found just on a hunch. It was a vintage Moroccan belt. I didn't make a lot on it. Someone offered me $28. It did relist several times, but it was a unique find and I thought it was great. So I made $22.40. At least that's what it looks like on my handwriting. Next up was this embroidered vintage belt. I thought it was going to sell on Etsy. I was trying to sell things on Etsy for a while. Not my favorite platform. Let me know what you think about Etsy if you sell on there. But I thought maybe my vintage stuff would go, better on there. I sold 2 things on there so far in the year that I've been reselling. And I used to sell my soaps and skincare on there, but I don't do that anymore. I have my Shopify now. So yeah, so this embroidered belt, someone came in and got it for $39 and I made $30. So purses, I do really enjoy finding purses if I can find anything vintage or leather, and there are so many to mention, but I picked out 4 that I want to share with you. This Dooney and Burke red crocodile print purse was a donated item, and I ended up selling it on an offer for $63. I think I had it listed for $75, so I made $50.40. Now this Hobo genuine leather handbag I found at my provisions thrift store, so I did pay a little bit more, $5.95 for this, but it sold on an offer of $58 and I made $44.38. Another Hobo birdie leather crossbody, it sold for $58 and I made $46.40. The next 2 items were the same exact item. There was the LL Bean crossbody purse. It's the RFID blocking. I sold both of them really fast. The first one was full price for $40 and I made $32. And then the second one, someone came in and accepted an offer that Posture VA sent out when I was sending out offers for $36 and I made $25.82 on that. So I need to correct myself because in a video that I did, a packing video, I thought both of them I had gotten full price for. But no, I got full price for one and then the other one was on an offer. I hope I'm not missing anything. I mean, there's just so many that over the years, but let me give you my stats on an overall year, how many items I sold and what my net profit is. And that just means after the fees, not my thrifting costs. This is just going to be after the platform fees and any shipping discount. Since I'm doing a year-end review from April of 2023, the end of April 2023 to the end of April 2024, I had to do this screenshot to give y'all an idea of what, and I clicked on net earnings and highlight. If you want to go into your Closet Insights, you can go into Seller's Tools and Closet Insights, and it will give you a breakdown of how much you've sold, what your what your net earnings are. So let me throw up these 2 screens here. And so the first one for 2023, net earnings was $5,600.07. The next one is what I sold up to April, the end of April in 2024 to do my whole year in review was $3,280.15. So it's already showing that I'm doing better in 2024 than I did in 2023. But again, I'm doing the year end from April to April. Kind of different. You can also go in and see what's selling in your closet, like what your average sales price is that are selling for, based on categories of men, women, kids, and housewares. And I did a breakdown of that as well. It seems that what men's items I sell for a higher average sale price than any of the others. But then again, I don't really sell a lot of men's items. And it also will break it down to brand, like what's your highest brand that you're selling. Anyway, I hope this is encouraging to you guys to continue in reselling or maybe starting to resell. The one thing I will say, the tip that I will give you is to write everything down, every expense that you have. In the beginning, I really didn't do that. I saved my thrifting receipts, but I really didn't do that because it's like, it's just, this little side hustle. Every expense, the shelving, the boxes, the plastic, the wrapping, your tape, your traveling time, gas, your thrifting receipts, all the things, everything you can think of. If you grab lunch when you're thrifting or grab something when you're thrifting, write it off. I'm not a tax person. My only my only advice to you is just to keep a ledger of every penny you spend so you can mark that down. I hope it was encouraging. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know below where you're at, if you're reselling, all the things, your goals, those kinds of things. That would be great to share and learn from each other. So I appreciate it. Be blessed, guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.